say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose proud stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, Ryan, for that fabulous rendition of our Star-Spangled Banner. That was great. We would not be standing here today if it were not for the generosity of one local hero, Mr. Gilbert Meyer, who lives in the house directly behind you. Mr. Meyer is a 99-year-old Pearl Harbor survivor. Through his generosity, the 4 acres we are standing on was donated to the Lytle VFW. Unfortunately, due to health reasons, Mr. Meyer is not able to attend the ceremony. We are recording this event so he can watch it later. Please join me in a round of applause for our very own hero and for his generosity to the VFW. The VFW's mission is to foster camaraderie among United States veterans of overseas conflicts, to serve our veterans, the military, and our communities, and to advocate on behalf of all veterans. Now that Lytle will have its first ever VFW post home, we will be able to enhance the ability to serve our veterans, the military, and our community. The members of the Lytle VFW are excited for the future and look forward to the ability to serve veterans by providing a safe place for them to come for assistance. Additionally, we will now have a place for the flagship health service bus to set up once a month and provide services for our local veterans. The Lytle VFW was first chartered in September of 2007 by 5 members. And when Larry Sanders became the commander, he led the post for 9 years with hopes of building a post in the future. Through his efforts of fundraising and increasing membership, the goal was in reach. If not for his leadership, the Lytle VFW would not have grown to the post it is today. The post was then led in 2021 and 2022 by past Commander Polly Sanders, who continued the fundraising to further bring the dream to reality. Thank you, Larry and Polly. I would like to pay special attention to our post commander, Ed Marson, who drove home the dream of a post building, and within a year, we're standing here today at a groundbreaking ceremony. Thank you, Ed. I would also like to thank our auxiliary as they are donating towards the VFW post. Thank you, Pam, and your members. At this time, I would like to invite the Texas Senior Vice Commander and our next state commander, Larry Sanders, to come up to say a few words.
Good afternoon. What a beautiful day here in Lytle, Texas.
Amen.
You know, he said to give me a few minutes. Not that. I like to talk a little bit. You know, comrades, auxiliary, guests out here, thank you. You know, our VFW mission statement is very clear to help veterans, help the family of veterans, and working with the community. As you can see out here, our businesses, our schools, to foster comradeship among its members. Today, it's a significant mission with a fresh start of a new adventure. The journey is a long coming with a lot of history in the making. If you allow me to share a few minutes of why we're here and where we are going. It's called Remember When. I can remember when I first joined this post a few years back, 2010. What happened, we met at the bank. Wasn't the Lytle State Bank, it was the other bank, which I don't know if they're still in business now. Got in there was 4 members sitting around a round table in there. And I walked in, and I introduced myself. I'm Larry Sanders. You know, I joined VFW a couple of years back before that. And what happened was I never went to a meeting. So here I am at a meeting. And they said, glad you're here. Now we have a quorum. I said, what is a quorum? I said, that's 5 members being here. Okay. I looked at him. One guy said, what'd you say your name was again? I went over around the table, introduced myself again. I said, my name is Larry Sanders. I thought to myself, just sit down. I have 2 missions here. One is to get up and leave. The second, I want to be in charge. Before the end of that meeting, they put me in as the senior vice commander. I said, what does senior vice commander do? Well, you'll learn as you go, really. So I said, well, do you have any money? No, we have $54. How many members do we have? 15. What'd you start with a few years ago? 25? Okay. So the middle of this next year, I became commander. And then we made, from that point, all-state, all-American. We brought in a lot of members, did a lot of work. For the next 9 years, though, we held all the records there was. And it wasn't about just me, it was about all of us. And here I can tell you, we had Rick Fintel, thank you, Rick, for being here. Jerry Bustamante, Juan Garcia, thank you for handling everything we did, going out and cooking and all that. Jack Steele, always being there. Steve Robb is always here. Juan Garcia, thank you. Also Ron Castanado, thank you for being here. From that point then, we had a lot of work for our senior vice team was Ernie Kroger. We lost Ernie a few years back. But we do become a Purple Heart Post, Purple Heart City, and the only Purple Heart bank still in the nation, right here, Lytle State Bank. Yeah, congratulations. Thank you, Randy. Thank you, Frank. We had the event starting off with the Freedom Walk. One of the first things we did to make money, go out there and we worked at it. What did we need to do? The Freedom Walk, the festival, we had 6 years of that. Just to mention a few more events that we did. We always helped with the city with the hay rides. We had dove hunts for the disability. But a huge barbecue pit that was built by the Lytle workshop at the schools. Working with the schools in the frontier days, we're still doing that as we do today. We always had a large banquet with 200, at least 200, 220. With the businesses, the experts that are out there from the community for our Voice of Democracy, our Patriots Pin, the Teacher of the Year, of course, that police, EMS. The police was always involved. Thank you, Richie, where you're at, Richie. And Matt Deere, thank you for all. I know Matt Deere, you moved on to, that's a big shot now. Thank you for being there. We also had Firefighter of the Year, Loyalty Day. We also had feeding of the trail riders from the Radle Trail Ride. We did that again just last 2 weeks ago, coming into the rodeo. We always had a 4th of July event. And thank you, Pam, for the auxiliary and all your crew for coming in and helping that. I appreciate that. We always cooked around 2,000 hot dogs. Couldn't give enough of them away. Special event, I did have a young man came around. He had about 6 kids, and he was holding the kid. My wife's holding the kid. He said, how many can I have these hot dogs until we run out? He come back again. That's what we're about. Give them away. 4th of July was a big event. Thank the city for the fireworks and everything, every time we had one. In the city, we couldn't do it without the city. The city of Lytle, thank you. Where are you at, Ruben, our mayor?
Thank you, Commander.
Thank you. Well, thank you for stepping up, being a mayor. It's the best thing we could have ever had in this life, right here. Always, Ruben always wears 5 different hats, though. Thank you for helping our veterans and what you do for the city. Also, the partners with you, the Lytle State Bank. Again, Randy, Frank Wonder, thank you for everything through the years. You've helped build this. It's what we're standing here for today. What we're about. Also other community partners such as HEB, other businesses in Lytle. Then came along one of the best things that ever happened to this post right here. It's called Unit Bingo. Wow. It's called Late Night Bingo over at Ingram Park Mall. Then we finally made some money. We made some money through the festivals, through the year. But finally, we come back out, we did well. Again, thank you, Pam, for working with us hard. And I want to thank our motorcycle units. We lost Motorcycle 8, our unit, James Bennett. We lost him several weeks ago. Stephen Trout. Chris, where you at? Chris, I know you're here. Thank you for all the hard work you do. I can't say enough to help from the city. And again, Ruben, it's what we're all about. Also, we have help from the chamber. You gotta remember, when we have a meeting, guess what? When we have our meeting, we have our mayor in there, we have our chamber president. We talk a lot what's going on in the city. We know more than the city is getting what's going on, this post right here. That's the best thing that could have happened to us. Membership grew until we grew for 9 years. We were all-state, all-American for 9 years. We were number one in the state for several years. We were number one, the third, and the fifth in the nation and its territories out of 7,000 posts. With a lot of membership, hard work, we come in and we raised up to 275 members, along with approximately $150,000. And this is the journey of goals, numerous members of excitement. What's going on? Not just me, all our members in here. Then come along a new commander after I stepped down. Polly, where you at, Polly? Thank you for stepping up. Commander, she also 3 times as a quartermaster, all-state, all-American. She brought another 85 members. We kept up the tradition. And then our new commander, Chris, thank you. Thank you for stepping up, helped with Ed, our quartermaster. Can't say enough for y'all. This is what it's about. And numerous awards. I congratulate the previous commander before the time. Also, before me was Carlos Vela, Stephen Trout, and Petra Bennett. Again, I will say this. It's called Remember When. I'm not going to talk much longer. You talked a minute ago about Mr. Gilbert Meyer. One day, as surveying for the park again, I went down to get it ready for our 4th or 5th festival. I met this gentleman walking across the sidewalk over. He had U.S. Utah on his cap. Very proud of it. I met with him, talked to him, and said, come over and sit down, young man. I said, thank you. We sat down and talked for about an hour what he did. He was in Pearl Harbor. Mr. Meyer, he got off duty one morning about 3 o'clock, went down to his bunk there. And I know Gilbert's listening, but we don't have the right story because he always tells me I get the wrong story. He's all about the 3rd to 4th deck down. About 7:30 that morning, he heard a thud that knocked him out of his bed. Knocked him out of his bed, he went back in because he's still sleeping. About 2 seconds later, the second thud hit him, then he realized something was gone. All of a sudden, water started gushing in the USS Utah. It's still laying on the port side right now in Pearl Harbor. This was the start of World War II at Pearl Harbor. I asked him what happened then. He said, I found a hatch, luckily. Water was coming in everywhere. We've been hit by the first wave of 200 Japanese planes, kamikazes, the first unit was the dive bombers and the torpedo planes that hit us. They did turn our ship on the port side and laying there today. And what happened, he stated that, remember, I was only weighing 130 pounds in my skivvies. I get up to the top, I pull out 4 people because I could. He said, and then I was hit by shrapnel in my right arm coming in. And to this day, till about 20 years ago, he finally got shrapnel out. He said, I started bleeding. I said, what happened then? I said, I jumped in the water, just called Ford Island. I swam for my life. And then another wave of 153 came in. It destroyed and damaged numerous battleships. One of the major ones, USS Arizona, right next to him. You got the Tennessee, you got the West Virginia, the California, Tennessee, Nevada, Pennsylvania, and the USS Shaw. So then what happened? He said, you got to remember, we got to shore. He said, I believe there's a ship called the USS Armada. I was bleeding. I had no clothes. So I walked over to a young lady. Can I get service here? She said, no, you got an arm and a neck and a leg. Get out of here. Go get on that ship. We went out, come back in. They put me on the USS Detroit. On the USS Detroit, he went all the way through the war. All the battles, the majors, also shellback, up and down the Pacifics. Until the best day of his life was December the 2nd, 1945. We were sitting in the Tokyo Bay. You got to remember, the Tokyo Bay is 5 miles wide. We are sitting right next to the USS Missouri, the signing of the Japanese surrender. And he said, one of the best 18 minutes of my life. I'm sitting there with tears. I'm crying. And I'm about to do that same right now. Then he went on to beat another 11 battleships for a total of 31 years. And I thank Gilbert. This is what we're about. Finally, we got Gilbert to join the VFW. Took a little while. He came around. One day at our meeting, he couldn't hear much. But they asked him, he said, what do I do to be a member here? I said, you got to listen. He said, I can't hear. So we moved him up a little further. Anyway, he went over and he started talking to Steve Robb. And he asked, why don't we have a building? We said, we don't have one. He said, well, I have 4 acres of land. So here we are today, standing here. I remember the first day we came out here. Didn't look like this, trust me. But this high weeds. And I thank this young man over here. Ernest, where you at, Ernest? Ernest lives right over here. We got piles over here, wood coming in here. John Shipley, thank you for coming out and helping us also. Commander over in Boutique and past district commander. Thank you for helping. We had a lot of help out here. Cleared it off. Only killed one rattlesnake back down over here. But I'd call Ernest every once in a while, what's going on? He said, I saw 2 big rattlesnakes go into your big pile over there. We better burn it then. But anyway, thank you for looking out after it. He does look out. He called me one day about 6 weeks ago. Hey, there's somebody on the land out there. Well, I think it was Ed coming out here. But he calls, he checks, see what's going on. Thank you for that. In closing, I want to say today, it's been a long time coming. But I'm happy to say the wait and the effort has paid off. I believe in the post organization, along with a new building, properties will show something bigger and beautiful than we could ever hope for or ever imagine. It pays off to the trust of our new leadership. Thank you, sir. Creative Minds, thank you. Chris Gosler, thank you very much, sir. Thank you, Ed. Thank you, Steve Robb, Ruben Gonzalez, the other members of this post out there. And thank the community, the supporters, and everybody here today. What an outstanding completion of a new journey. I congratulate Post 12041 for the future name of Gilbert Meyer in the making. And last, we have the honor to become department. I will be coming in 2 months. I'll be state commander of the VFW, 70,000 combat veterans. And I'm going to say this. I see this post as the #1 in the state. This next year, Lytle will always be my hometown with the honor and of the glory. I thank you.
All right, this is it. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Hey, how about we do it where we're going to do the water line?
Yeah, start out front. Bill, Randy. There you go. Rex.